Aloha! You are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 147. This episode is sponsored by Tandawai Rum, the world's largest rum producer and winner of over 170 international medals in the past 4 decades. Check out their webpage at tandawaiusa.com or follow them on Facebook or Instagram at tandawaiusa. Today we chat with musical artist Hale, also known as singer, songwriter, and guitarist Peter Cruz. The last time I chatted with Peter was when he was lead guitarist for the island reggae band Tribal Theory. We recorded this episode on the release of his new solo debut single, Feel That, and sit down for a candid chat about his creative growth, how it has changed and fueled his musical career, and what's in store for the future of Hale music. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did bringing it to you. If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a good rating. Doing so helps people find the show and boosts our presence. Also, subscribing makes it easier for you to follow our adventures, and subscribers always get new releases first. You can find previous episodes at our website, desertoasisroom.com, as well as links to our social media, along with links to our guests' websites and their social media. Okay, party people, if you're a fan of island reggae, you're going to love this music. Give it up for our friend, Hale.
Inside the Desert Oasis Room.
What's up, party people? This is Hale, and you're listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room.
Rhythm, it's so hard to find it. Searching for that artificial thing. Lord, I feel blinded. I must be wasting my time. I might be searching for what's already mine. This is the moment I was given a sign. I feel totally fine. Got to feel that rhythm. You've got to feel that rhythm. You've got to feel that. I know you wanna feel that. If I don't lock into this groove, damn right I won't be ready. It's cloudy a little, and my mind starts slipping away. But when the sky gets way too light, this rhythm moves you day and night. I feel this every day. I must be wasting my time. I might be searching for what's already mine. This is the moment I was given a sign. And no matter what I do, I know that I will be flowing with that rhythm. You've got to feel that rhythm. You've got to feel that. I know you wanna feel that. If I don't lock into this groove, damn right I won't be ready.
What's happening, Peter?
A lot, man.
I know,
Lots
I've got so
going
much to
on.
talk to you. Let me start by saying thank you for
Yeah.
taking some time out on a Friday night.
My pleasure.
So, lots of stuff to talk about. I think the timing is awesome that we have a new single to talk about, right?
Yeah, man.
So congratulations
Thank
about
you.
that.
Thank you.
So we'll get to that though, but I want to start by saying thanks for buying me a beer.
Cheers.
All
Yeah.
right,
No,
cheers.
that's
Cheers.
my pleasure, man. Thanks for coming all the way down here
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Corona and coming to the sunny San Diego and talking about some.
We're
some
so
new
lucky,
stuff.
man. It's almost mid-October, and look at this beautiful day.
Yeah.
We're out
It
here in
is.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
We're outside, right?
I'm in shorts.
I was
yeah.
gonna wear shorts, but I'm gonna go to a bar afterwards, and don't think they're gonna let me in if I'm wearing shorts.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Knowing
so
San Diego,
I'm
probably
gonna
not,
hit up
but
a friend's bar on
worth
the
a
way.
try.
Yeah, I think they have a dress code, so I have to wear pants, right? So let's talk about what's happened since the last time we chatted, dude, it doesn't feel like it's been over a year and a half.
That's crazy.
But it was March of 2018 when I chatted with you last.
Right.
You were with Tribal Theory at the time.
Yep.
And things have changed, right? So tell me about, let's start off first with, what happened there with Tribal Theory.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think what had happened was, you kind of, you work with people and you grow,
Sure,
kind of like
yeah.
with relationships and stuff like that. So more or less, in short, it was time for me to move on. In January, we had a show in Seattle at the Crocodile, and I decided that from this point on, it was going to be my last show, and then I was going to focus on my own projects. Because I felt somewhat restricted in the creative side of things. And if I can be candid, a little frustrated,
Sure.
with the way that things were being handled, and the growth of the band was just kind of stagnant. So, not that I wasn't thankful for everything, not that I wasn't thankful for the fans and what Tribal Theory gave me as an artist, but as a person too, which I'm really thankful for. But it was just time for me to grow and turn the next chapter, turn the next page, and move on to a new chapter and focus on my expertise as a songwriter and a guitarist and a singer that I didn't really have the ability to do in Tribal Theory.
So when you say that you were feeling a little bit creatively restricted, is it safe to assume that you were a songwriter for Tribal Theory, for the band?
Absolutely. A lot of the well, after their first EP, I didn't have any hand in that, but right after their first EP, when I joined about like 8 years ago, we started releasing new albums, Hell of a Night, Cali Love.
Yeah.
I had a big part in writing a lot of those songs. Lyrically, not so much, but creatively, when it comes to instrumentation and musicianship, I had a big part of that.
Was the feeling of not having that creative freedom, did that come from just the style of music that Tribal Theory is?
I don't think so. I think it was just, if not me, us as a whole. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but creatively we weren't on the same wavelengths.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's fair, right? I mean, it's not even just, for a lot of bands, it's not even that. It's, a lot of it's just also managing relationships, right?
Right. It's
because
huge.
you're having a relationship with everybody in the band, right?
Exactly.
There might be two people that don't get along, even though you get along with them.
Yep.
And then you have to still deal with that.
Of course.
Right? But I don't know if it's ironic, coincidental, I don't know what the right word is, but Nico posted something recently about wanting to branch out into doing his own style too, right? And growing his own path, right?
Sure.
With his creativity and his style of music that he wants to explore. And it would not be a good thing for any of you as musicians if you didn't.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's inherently it's inherently a part of you as a musician. You need to constantly expand and grow and experience other things as far as music is concerned. That even goes for personal relationships. I mean, as a band, the word band itself, you guys stick together and you have to, grow, and but the fact of the matter is people change, and with that change comes change in creativity and even personal likes. Like what do you like as a musician?
Yeah.
What I liked 10 years ago in music is totally different than what I like now. And I guess at one point in time when we're together and we mesh well and people change, things just don't mesh the way they used to be, and you have to accept that. And I think I got to that point where I was like, I accept it. I wasn't upset with myself or with anybody. I was just more accepting and at peace with the idea of leaving. Yeah.
That's good. I have a bunch of questions about that because, when I first started following you guys, let's put it this way. when I chatted with you guys a year and a half ago, that particular configuration of the band looks completely different than what it looks like today.
Right.
And at that time, it looked completely different than the year before.
Yeah.
And that time, it looked completely different than the year before.
Yeah.
Because when I first started following you guys, I mean, there was one point where there was like 6 guys up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is a fact. There was a lot of us.
Yeah.
There was a lot of us.
And it started, changing. And, it's a natural thing, but it's also kind of weird to see. And for someone like you that was in the band for a long time, that must have been a hard decision to make.
Yeah. I was always a guy who said, never give up, don't quit. There's always something right around the corner. But even as a person, aside from the whole musician thing, you can only take so much change in something that you have a vision for. Also, I felt like a lot of times where my say didn't have a lot of weight.
Okay.
And because of that, I could only do so much.
Right.
And I could only change so much and be happy and keep others happy.
Right.
I was always worried about, making sure that not only my happiness was taken care of, but the whole band as a whole.
That's part of that whole relationship thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, having a girlfriend, you want to make sure that you both are on the same page. And if she's not happy, you're going to do whatever you want or can to, make sure she's taken care of. So that's where I was at, is I just wanted to make sure that everyone was taken care of. And the fact of the matter is, it was frustrating that we had to deal with changes, but I hated to be that guy that made the same decision as everyone else. What I did differently was, aside from everybody that has left the band, I made a point to meet with everybody as men and as brothers, to say my piece and to tell them my intentions and let them know that this was the end of the road for me, but not the end of the road for Peter.
Yeah.
As a musician,
Yeah.
Whether they respected that or not, I don't know.
I respect you for doing that, because that's a very adult thing to do.
I agree. Yeah. We dealt with a lot of people who just kind of
Communicate.
woke up one morning and
just
left.
Just be straight up with the guys, so that there's no surprises, and then they're not like, what the hell happened there?
Right. Having that kind of respect is important.
Of course. Yeah. Well, that's good. It had to be still. I mean, Tribal Theory it's a machine, right? You've got a manager. You've probably got a publicist, which I apologize for kind of going around the side door for that.
Nah, not at all.
I don't even know who the publicist is, man.
Hey, man, sometimes you gotta go straight to the source.
Go through the side door to get the interviews. But so PR, all that kind of stuff, right? And to step away from all of that had to be like, okay, so it's just me now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
it's a change.
And so, do you actually have a team that you're assembling now? Now that you got a single out now,
right? Yeah. Just released it today, October 11th. It's called Feel That.
Yeah.
I worked with some good friends on it, and so I was really happy
Great
that
song,
they helped
by the
me.
way.
Yeah, thank you. I have no team.
Okay.
No team
but
whatsoever.
It's coming.
I would love a team if people are willing to help me, but it's always obviously got to be people I trust. But
sure,
I'm open to the idea. It is hard work.
Yeah.
It's but it's not as hard as people make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you really love what you do and you're passionate about it, you'll find the time and you'll make the time to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And I was always led to believe that, you can't do this because I am the only one that can, handle this part of the merch, or the only one that can handle the royalties or ASCAP or BMI. Nah, go read a book, and you'll figure it out. And that's what I did, is I put on a lot of the groundwork after I left Tribal Theory to learn all this stuff and make sure that when I release this song, whether it's successful or not, I know that I did it right, no team, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. Stressful, but very rewarding.
So I want to talk about your transition away from Tribal Theory.
Mm-hmm.
and your new venture as Hale.
Yep.
So there was a brief stint there in the middle where you were playing rock in a rock band, right?
I actually, so literally right after I left, maybe 3 weeks after I left Tribal Theory, my good friends from Guam, they're an amazing metalcore band. They're called Surrender the Thief. They had a tour in Japan. They didn't have a bassist, or their original bassist at the time, he had left, so they needed somebody to cover. So I spent a good month learning their stuff because I haven't played that stuff since high school. But yeah, I was helping them out through their tour.
Dude, it was fucking great, man. I saw the videos and stuff on social media. And I do have to say, though, it's kind of like, when you break up with a girlfriend, like maybe she was a blonde and then right after you're with a brunette, right?
Right. Yeah.
Completely different.
Completely different. Two different sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Musically, yeah.
But it was awesome. And I thought that it was... I actually thought that was the path that you were going to be going. I thought, oh, he's just probably tired of doing the reggae stuff. And he wants to do rock music. And it was heavy metal music. And it was... I'm a guy that listens to almost any
Everything.
genre, right? So I enjoyed that too, and I was really pumped about that. And then you started doing this new path, which is called Hale. So let's talk about that, because I'm really digging it. And
thank you.
Not to say this in an insulting kind of way. It feels very mature, but still the same style that I'm accustomed to hearing from you.
Sure.
And what I say about mature is like it's not as, I don't know. Tribal Theory has always felt very party poppy, you know, to me.
That's a great description.
And this music is kind of it's a little bit. I don't want it to sound like I'm insulting Tribal Theory.
Right. No.
It's a little bit above that.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
It's more refined.
Right. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, for sure.
So tell us about that journey as far as like deciding. Did you already have the music in your head when you were still with the band? Did you already know kind of like this path that you wanted to follow?
I've known for some time that I wanted to do this. Name, music, all that stuff. I've always written music on my downtime, even with the band. So the music's always been there, but actually, diving back into it and making it something worthwhile or something that, is like real tangible for a listener or like for a fan. It wasn't until recently, till probably like after I left the band, because I could commit more time to it. But yeah, it's always been on my mind. But more so probably earlier this year.
Okay. Yeah. Where are you drawing your inspiration for this style of music now that you're doing?
Well, I think a lot of this comes from the my foundation of reggae music and island music as a whole. Like you said, more refined is kind of what I wanted to go for.
Yeah.
I felt like we were writing a lot of party songs, or a lot of like songs about girls.
That's exactly what I meant by party pop.
Right, exactly, like a poppy reggae vibe, which it people love.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun, but I wanted something with a little bit more depth. I wanted to write about how I felt. I wanted to write about how music affects me. I want to write about how people have affected me in my life, and I want to write about, current events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So things that matter to me, I wanted to put that into the music that I was writing, even when I was with Tribal Theory, but didn't have the time to really, dedicate to. But really, the inspiration was being on tour with a lot of these bands that we played with. A lot of the people that I got to meet on the road, but more so with my history of island music and growing up in Guam, kind of really glued everything together. So I draw all the inspiration from my heroes in island music and reggae music. That's really where it comes from and stems from.
Yeah. You were just in Guam.
Just in Guam, yeah.
Was that for this particular new project as Hale?
Not at all.
That was just a pleasure project, just a vacation.
Yeah, it actually happened to work out because the song was about to drop, and I I have good friends in the radio.
Yeah, they're playing it on the radio now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we have good friends that are DJs at the radio, and they said, "Hey, you're in Guam." They always welcome me, even as a member of Tribal Theory. Always welcome me to come in and talk, which I'm very thankful for. And it happened to fall at a time where it was convenient, so I went there and I had the song mastered already, so I gave it to them.
Perfect.
And so they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna play it," and I was, super ecstatic that they were gonna do that. So the purpose of the trip was just for vacation.
Okay.
Me and my girlfriend, we had to go back to Guam because it was This was her second time, but the last time we went, it was like super stormy, so she needed a new experience.
Yeah.
And then went to the Philippines and Thailand, and then
I saw that.
came back.
Yeah.
So
anything happen out there that will maybe influence you into something finding its way into a song?
Absolutely. And it's funny you asked that, because the next single, which is it just got mixed, so I'm trying to pump these things out as fast as I can, so I have this catalog ready to go. But the next one will be actually dedicated to the islands. So the next one is very influential as far as my upbringing in the Marianas, and then also the people that I grew up with, and friends and family in Guam, and Guam specifically, but the Marianas in general. Yeah.
Very nice.
So that's in the oven right now.
Oh man, I can't wait. You put a teaser on your Instagram stories. What song was that? Is that the next one?
That is
What
gonna
is
be
that one?
okay. So really
Fucking dope, bro.
Thanks,
I
dude.
mean, it really
Yeah.
was fire, man.
Thank
it was,
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That one's gonna be more of like the rootsy vibe. I'm trying to go
man,
for
it
that
was
rootsy
great.
vibe. That one's a very that's a very specific topic that I'm releasing a lot of inner angst. So
Okay,
it's
all right.
it's a lot of it's very me in terms of my experiences and what I've been through.
Yeah.
The song is in a minor, so if people don't know, songs that are in a minor have more of a darker feel. Especially reggae, it's more aggressive than the poppy stuff. So this song's gonna be more of that darker feel.
Okay.
It's gonna speak a lot of truth, a lot of things that I've dealt with, and I feel that people deal with on a daily, and I think a lot of people will relate to it. It's about the song, without giving too much away, is going to be about staying away from people who
just kind of like bring out your negative energy, bring you down, or
wolves in sheep's clothing. Really is kind of the vibe we're going for.
Okay,
so that's the vibe. I don't know if I'm going to release it as a single, but I have a game plan, and the game plan is to release an EP by the first quarter next year.
Okay.
So we're 3 songs deep in. We need 3 more. I'm just kind of working with friends and myself, really for the most part, just sitting at home and writing.
A lot of times when a musician is writing a project for themselves, like this new EP, for example, many times they're playing all the instruments. Did it start that way?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you trust me, like guitar, bass, keyboard, or piano, vocals, everything.
You want to put this thing together so that you can hear what is playing in your head, right? But you also want to have something fleshed out for musicians that you bring in so they know what you're going after.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So the question that I had for you was, you were playing at Tribal, you were playing lead guitar. Was it lead
guitar? Yeah.
Okay. And so what are you doing now with Hale?
So I think my role as Hale is going to be kind of just the songwriter. As far as the new songs that are coming out, so Feel That, which released today, again, the single was comprised of some friends who played and produced the song. I wrote the guitars. I wrote a good amount of the lyrics. I'd say like 60% of the lyrics.
Okay.
Then I also had some friends who helped with the lyrics because I wanted it to be collaborative, not just me. I wanted that collaborative vibe because that brings more out of you. But these new songs that are coming out are, if not, are absolutely 100% produced by me. This song that I'm going to be releasing, hopefully by the first quarter next year or end of December, even see how it will go. It was mixed by a good friend, and he actually drummed on it too. So I can only do so much as a musician,
Sure.
but for the most part, I'm doing about 90% of everything: writing, instrumentation, and all that.
Yeah. I bet like if you had all this stuff in your head for all that time, not the whole time you were with Tribal Theory, but in the later years, you must be bursting with all kinds of things that you just want to get out.
Yeah,
right?
to say the least. Yeah, I have a catalog of things that I've written for so many years that some of them we did use for, Tribal Theory is supposed to release a new album, which we recorded almost 2 years ago, that nothing has been released yet. But a lot of those songs that are on that album were in my catalog.
Sure.
But with that being said, that whole catalog as a whole, I take from those things all the time and just kind of revisit them and see if I'm happy with them, and if I dig it, I add more to it.
Okay.
So bursting out the seams with writing. Yeah.
How is this affecting? And I'm just curious. It just popped into my head. How is this affecting Tribal Theory? I mean, like, are they?
I couldn't tell you. To be completely honest with you,
God, is that a bad thing to ask?
No, I have no problem with that, because the truth is the truth, and the reality is, nobody's ever really given me the thumbs up or patted me on the back or said, "Hey, good luck to you."
Really?
At the end of the day, yeah. So I left with no ill intention, but where I'm at today, there's no good intention from anybody else. So
I'm just curious if it ends up being like a situation that you see, like, this is again just popping into my head, like the Van Halen situation, right? Where their sound just completely changes because they start writing music a different way because they have a different band.
Right,
now,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I think I had a big hand in a lot of their writing process. But when I sit in the studio and start writing, like, there's not one section of the song where I feel like would be more beneficial if I was still with the band.
Right.
I can do this on my own. Now, can they do that on their own? My hopes are that, yes, I would love to know that they can.
You don't have ill intentions for
Absolutely
the
not.
band.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I would hope that they can still progress. What they think of Hale beats me, but I would hope that they have, positive thoughts and positive intentions for me to do well. But that's a hope. That's basically all I can do is really hope that that's a case.
And it's also not an unusual thing for people in bands to have side projects or want to do things outside of what they've been doing again and again and again and again. As a fan of music, even I get sick of hearing and singing into the same stuff over and over and over. And that's got to be like when you guys go on a tour with tons of dates and you're singing that same song or you're playing that same song again and again through rehearsals, through the shows. And it's a song that you've already been doing for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's okay to say, I want to try something new.
Yeah, yeah.
So
broaden your horizons a little bit.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about this EP. How many tracks do you think you'll be releasing?
I'm shooting for 6.
Okay.
I want this EP to be robust.
Okay.
To where it sets a precedent for the rest of the music that I plan on creating and releasing. So I was actually just talking about this last night with my girlfriend about who I confide in with a lot, about, reassuring me that this sounds good. So she's kind of like my confidant when it comes to that sounds good, that doesn't,
Yeah.
But we were just talking about how,
and she can be brutally honest with you.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
important.
Because a lot of a lot of musicians they kind of like they know their boundaries and they can only say so much. But with her, it's like she's not really musically inclined, but she knows what sounds good and doesn't, and I take that to heart. So, so we were just talking about the release of the EP. I want it to be at least 6, and I don't want any fillers. Yeah. I want these songs to have a lot of depth, a lot of meaning, and
each one can stand on its own.
Exactly. Yeah. And treat them like singles,
Is there a particular theme to the EP?
At this present time, I don't have that in mind.
Okay.
Now, I've thought about it, and I really want it to be very cultural.
Okay.
You know, related to music as far as reggae, but also culturally sound as far as my Chamorro culture. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
But I think it can go anywhere.
Okay.
But I what I want it to be is something that people can listen to and look back on and always know that they can take something out of that album and relate to. And, you know, be like, this is one song that affected me in a certain way that I can relate to the rest of my life or to a specific situation in my life. So
right.
That's a goal.
And when a new album comes out, I know it might be a little bit early to talk about this, but plans for touring or anything like that? Shows to promote that new EP?
Yeah. Well, we actually have I'm playing an acoustic show next Friday, the 18th.
Okay.
There's a brand new grand opening Guamanian. It's called Smackin' Guamanian Grill.
Right.
Here in Mira Mesa, and so a good friend of mine, one of the guys who wrote Feel That with me, he let me know that he was playing. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. The owner of the restaurant shortly after hit me up and asked me if I wanted to play. So it was really nice that they asked, and we're gonna kind of celebrate the grand opening and, you know, play a couple tunes. Actually, probably play a couple tunes that are potential to be on the EP. So
very nice.
I'm excited about that.
Very nice. Do we want to give any? Is it a secret who's playing on the album?
No, not at all.
Should we shout him out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as of right now, what I can give you is a good friend. He's been through the Reclamation EP with Tribal Theory. He actually drummed on Feel That, and he'll be a part of pretty much the whole production process with me on the new EP. His name's Chris. I don't know if you met Chris, but he used to drum for Tribal Theory.
Okay. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Know if I did or didn't.
I don't think he was at that show. Yeah. But he's an amazing guy. He's such a amazing drummer.
And no offense to Chris if I did. I mean, like, I record with a lot of bands.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm really bad with names.
No.
And sometimes when there's a band with like 4 or 5 names.
It's hard to
remember them
latch
all.
On to all
you know, so I cheat a lot on social media. Like when I look at tags, like, oh, so that's so and so.
Yeah. So you got to.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So I'm interested in actually, because that teaser you put up on your story was just so dope, man. I'm interested in hearing all this other stuff now.
Yeah.
I really can't wait.
Yeah. That's definitely going to be a good one. I'm really excited about that. And actually, Chris, he just reproduced the drums on that for me, so he sent it over the other night. So I'm just kind of letting it marinate, and the song's done, like, musically. Yeah, it's just a matter of printing the vocals and all the other instruments. So it's just a matter of time.
Are you writing all the vocals yourself?
Yeah, I'm songwriting everything. Yeah, so
God, man, that's
vocally.
That just seems like it's. See, I'm not a guy who writes music. I mean, I just enjoy music. I'm not a musician. I mean, I play ukulele, but I just play covers. Right. It just seems like such. I know that there's with top 40 music with pop songs. There's a formula, right?
Yeah.
They'll do like an intro, first verse, second verse, chorus, maybe a bridge, third verse, that kind of stuff, and then an outro, right, where they'll finish the song, and then they add lyrics and all that to it, and then they apply it again and again and again, and you'll actually hear it in a hit song. Yeah. Right. Is the same process for lyrics? Does that exist?
Like lyrically writing to a song?
Yeah.
Honestly, to be completely honest with you, I am not a lyricist.
Okay.
This is a whole learning process for me, and I was actually really frustrated with myself for a long time because I just could never get out the poetic side. But with practice, I mean, this one that you heard on the Instagram came out like it just flowed.
Do you have a name for it already? Is it named yet?
I do have a name.
But we don't want to say it yet?
It's a work in progress. But the wolf in sheep's clothing is definitely that's the girth of the song.
All right.
But
all right.
The name will come soon, I promise
you.
Well,
what little I heard, I'd be surprised if it weren't a hit.
I appreciate that.
You get that out there on Island Radio, and I think everybody's going to love it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right.
That's the hope, you know, with everything that we write.
And you've got to be connected at this point after all the years that you spent with Tribal Theory. You've got to have some feelers out there, or people that you maybe can connect with to get this music out there. So
it's you still got to navigate it though, and like it's just like reconnecting the dots and re-networking with these people. So that's what I've been trying to do, and actually, you know, this past week is just, you know, touching base with these people and seeing if they're interested in the music, and if so, like I'm there to provide some tunes, you know.
Very cool. So for all of our listeners that want to check out the new single, where can we send them?
Pretty much everywhere. You can find it on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music. There's actually a lo-fi cinematograph music video I dropped today on YouTube. So if you search "Feel That Hale," you'll find the video. The algorithm's kind of weird because everything's kind of new, so it's still not finding Hale until people hit it more, so it'll be easier.
To help our listeners, because I looked for it also.
Yeah.
And I did type in Hale, feel that Hale, listen to Hale, and it didn't pop up right away, so I would say have them go to listentohale.com.
I agree.
And there's a direct link there.
Exactly. Just go to listentohale.com. All the social links are there. They're big, bold icons. There's also a listen section on the main page where you can actually hit the Spotify link. I'll add everything else as it comes. And also my contacts there. So I'm always open to people if they ever have questions. You know, even like the lone music producer who has questions about what I do. You know, I'm always open to talking to fans and friends and people who are interested in Hale as a whole.
I know that the single just released today. Are you already starting to get feedback on it?
I am. A lot of people that I don't know are leaving me feedback.
Very nice.
And that's amazing. That is really amazing to me, because that's when you know you're starting to have an impact. Because most people, if they're not your friends and they're biased, they won't care.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that even my closest friends are going out of their way to promote it, which I'm absolutely thankful for, that nobody told them to do.
Right,
you know,
right.
There's no, nobody has their hand in anything, but they're doing it because they mean it out the kindness of their heart. So
I'm going to do my part.
I appreciate you.
I promise that.
Thank you, bro.
So for our listeners out there, check out our friend Peter Cruz here at Listen to Hale. And Hale spelled Hale for the people that are not familiar with the correct spelling for that.
Correct.
Listen to Hale, listentohale.com. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, at Listen to Hale. Do we want to give your personal Instagram as well?
Yeah. And if you want to follow me, the profile that I've been using for many years, it's Peter PG Cruz. That's where you see my personal life aside from the music side. And I put a lot of my music stuff on there, but also, just kind of what I do on a daily.
Awesome.
So my nerdiness, my dorkiness is all up in there. So
awesome. Anything else we want to throw out there before we wrap this up?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's listening. It means a lot to me because I couldn't do this without the support of the fans and people who just love music, but also you, bro. Appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You are the door into listeners, and if it wasn't for you and Desert Oasis, there's no Hale. So I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate that. No, I appreciate you, and thank you again for coming down here and meeting me on this beautiful Friday. I don't know if it's nighttime yet. The sun's still up, but it's setting. But we're lucky to be out here in Southern California. Thanks again, bro.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it so much.
Man. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
I look forward to seeing and hearing all the new stuff that's going to be coming out.
Thanks, bro. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, party people. If you have any questions, comments, or just want to leave a shout out, stop by our group page on Facebook, Inside the Desert Oasis Room. You can follow us on Instagram at Polynesian Pop. And if you want to listen to some previous episodes, desertoasisroom.com. Check out our friend Peter Cruz, listentohale.com, at listentohale on Instagram. Cheers.
It's not the race. So down, it's not the race. The rhythm of the bass. I feel it pumping and my heart is jumping and I grab you by the waist. So down, it's not the race. to feel that rhythm. You've got to feel that rhythm. You've got to feel that. I know you wanna feel that. If I don't lock into this groove, damn right I won't be ready. This music for the drum and the bass. Listen up, it's Hale music, gonna wind down your waist. This music for the drum and the bass. Listen up, it's Hale music, gonna wind down your waist. This music for the drum and the bass. Listen up, it's Hale music, gonna wind down your waist. If I don't lock into this groove,